Om Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Yenakshara Samamnayam Adhigamya Maheshwarat Kritsnam Vyakaranam Proktam Tasmai Paninaye Namaha Vakyakaram Vararuchim Bhashyakaram Patanjalim Paninim Sutrakarancha Pranatosmi Munitrayam Vagartha Viva Samprikto Vagartha Pratipattaye Jagatah Pitaro Vande Parvati Parameshwaro. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Namaste, welcome. So today we'll be seeing, we'll continue with our topic of Kṛdanta, Kṛdantam. So we've seen Krityaha, right? So we've seen this Yakara, Tavya, Aniya in the Kṛdanta section. And then we started seeing Kartari Kṛdanta in the past few classes. We've seen Trich. We are still examining Nvul. And Kvip we quickly saw as well. So we're going to review Nvul and Kvip and see some more examples. And then hopefully, if we get some time, we'll start Nishtha. Okay, Nishtha is the next section. And this, so hopefully we'll get some time. Nishtha is also Kartari Kṛdanta, but it can also have different meanings. So that's why we're going to keep it separate for now. One question that came up in our last class that I wanted to address first was, what is the dhatu and gana of derived dhatu? So Harprasad ji would ask that question, right? If you derive a dhatu, then what is the dhatu and gana? So this is an example. This is deep dhatu. Deep is 1A, okay? Now we added nich, okay? Nich. Now you see how it's 1A, but it declines. So it declines in both. So it declines in both Parasmaipada and Atmanepada. So it's like Ubhayapadi.
Mahadaya, not declines, conjugates.
Conjugates, yeah. Yes, conjugates. So conjugates in both Parasmaipada and Atmanepada. Okay, so both can happen, but they all decline like the first gana. Okay, so it doesn't really matter what gana it is, even if it's fourth gana, sixth gana, when we derive the new dhatu, so for example, we're adding nich, it's always going to be first gana. Okay, so that's just something to note that came up in our last class. I wanted to follow through. Let's come to our Kartari Kṛdanta Nvul. Okay, another question that came up then. So Pratimaji had a question about dhatu. And just to clarify that, so this is going to be more details than you need, so I'm going to try to keep it brief, okay? This is one of the rules for how we know whether vriddhi or guna takes place, okay? So here it says, when the pratyaya is nit or nit, okay? What that means is, when nakara is the it letter of the pratyaya, then vriddhi can take place. Okay, so for example, Nvul has nakara that comes and goes, right? So it's a nit, meaning nakara is an it letter for nvul. Okay, that means vriddhi can take place. Okay, where can vriddhi take place? It can take place at the last ik. Okay, what is ik? I, u, r. I, u, r, l. Okay, the vowel l. Okay, so all those simple vowels, I, u, r, l. All that vriddhi can take place. And also it says at the penultimate short akara, if the dhatu has one. Okay, meaning not any akara, it has to be a penultimate. So for example, pat plus nvul, there's an akara that's the second to last letter. Penultimate means second to last. So if there's a short akara that's second to the last, then that can also take vriddhi. So penultimate I, u, r, l can take vriddhi. Okay, so pat becomes pat, and then I add akka, so pataka. Okay, so that's the same with the dhatu. We have penultimate akara, it becomes dah, and it becomes dahaka. Okay, why doesn't, there was a question about why about save? How come save doesn't take vriddhi? Because it's not I, u, r, l. It's a already, and a can't take vriddhi. Okay, so that was that question. I'm clearing the question bank before we start new ones. Okay, the last question, well, it wasn't a question. One thing I promised, but we didn't do, is when we're saying nvul, how to make strilinga version of nvul. Okay, we didn't get to see this last time. Okay. This is, I'm going to show it, read it here quickly, and then I'm going to show you how it's done. Okay. So in strilinga, in feminine, so when I'm doing nvul, so just to remember, nvul is a Kartari Kṛdanta, meaning it denotes the karta, the doer, the agent of action, right? Finally, na and la are the it letters, but the whole thing becomes akka, right? The whole thing becomes akka, and that was one thing that we needed to remember on nvul, is the whole thing becomes akka because of the sutra that's there. Okay, that's why dahaka, right? Dah plus akka. Nvul becomes akka. Karaka, kr takes vriddhi, becomes kar. We had akka, karaka. Okay, those are all masculine. And or napumsaka linga, it declines at a ending. But in strilinga, what happens is a suffix a is added at the end. So it's technically called tap, that akara is added at the end. That's why, most feminine names also have right? So that's in one way of remembering. So is usually added. And then something funny happens. The short before the ka is changed into e. Okay, so let me give you an example of that. Okay. So I have kar. Kru becomes kar because vriddhi. We've seen that a few times now, right? Hopefully that's okay. Hopefully we can go past that. Kru becomes kar because of vriddhi. Then nvul becomes akka. Okay, so it just becomes karaka if it was in masculine or napumsaka linga, right? Karaka. Now what happens is, if I write out, right, karaka. Okay, now this akara before the ka, so this akara, which is before the ka, becomes e. So it becomes kar ika. Okay, So that akara before the ka becomes e. So it becomes karika. Okay. Now you can either add the a now at the end, or you can add the a before. It doesn't really matter. Here I'll add it at the end. So it becomes karika. So the akara is added to the end. So a plus a becomes a. Karika. Okay. So that's the final form. You can see it in Devanagari here. So karika. Right here, pavaka. So we pavika. Right. Let's see some other forms. Right. Dahaka would be dahika. Dahika. Naika. You may have heard this one before. Sevika. Sadika. Darshika, etc. Right? So that's how the feminine form is created. Okay. Hariprasad, you had a question here?
Yes, Mahodaya. In this feminine suffix top, is it? Yeah, top.
Yes, top.
So pa is itsanya, right?
Yeah, takara and pakara are both it letters.
No, I thought it's only pakara is it.
So finally, so it's top, and finally we're left with akara, meaning that ta must have gone as well, right?
Okay.
We're just left with just the vowel in between.
Then how come when we chant when we chant the it letters for
Maheshwara Sutra.
No, in the we su jas. I'm talking
Yes.
about
Okay. Yes.
su jas. In the third, which is Tritiya, it becomes ta, which becomes a.
Yeah. So same thing there is the takara is it. There is not top, it's just ta, and the takara is it. The ta goes away and it's just a.
Oh, okay.
Here we have both takara and pakara that go away.
Okay.
It's just, yeah. So they're technically two different.
Different. Got it. Okay. Then
Okay. Let's continue. So let's see some exercise. So what is the vyutpatti of the following Kṛdanta words? Okay. Example answer is given in the example. So for example, karkaha. Okay, vyutpatti. Vyutpatti means what is the derivation? How is it made? Okay. So here, this is doing very detailed analysis. We don't always have to do this, but this is a Kṛdanta word. Dhatu is kr. Right? The krit pratyaya we're adding is nvul. How do we know that? Because you see the aka sound in there. Vigraha vakya. The way of explanation is kurvanti iti karakaha tan karakan. So we've seen this before. You can say karoti iti karaka and then say tan, or you have to do kurvanti. So first, yeah, if you're not following, we're going to give another example in a moment. Okay. This suffix denotes the karta of the action. This is kartari vyutpatti. Okay, let's do number 2. Dahakebhyaha. Okay, dahakebhyaha. This is a Kṛdanta word. The dhatu is dah, to burn. The krit pratyaya is nvul. Okay, now let's stop there. What case do you think dahakebhyaha is? What do we say? Ebhyaha? It can be
maybe it may be 4-1 or 5-1. No, 4-3 or 5-3.
Yeah, 4-3 or 5-3. They were Ramebhyaha, Ramebhyaha. Or no, yeah. So there it's fine, right? So ebhyaha, that's 4-3, 5-3. That bhyaha. You know, you're speaking Sanskrit when you're saying bhyaha a lot, right? That's 4-3, 5-3. So this can be, let's take it as 5-3. Okay. Why? I don't know. Just to make it simple, we'll say it's 5-3. So first, okay, so dhatu, 1p to burn, dah. So dahati iti dahakaha. Right? Dhatu, if we just conjugating it, dahati, right? So this is how we're going to start. Dahati iti dahakaha. Now we have to put it in the fifth case, plural. How we do that is we use a tad shabda in 5-3. Okay? So, tebhyaha is the 5-3 of tad shabda. So I would say dahati iti dahakaha. I want to get first case first, and I would say tebhyaha dahakebhyaha. Or how we can do it is we can start with first case plural. So we can do it dahanti iti dahakaha. And then tebhyaha dahakebhyaha. Okay, so either way, this is probably easier just to start with the 1-1 and then to go to the 5-3. So we use the tad shabda to convert the word. That's how we use it in the Vigraha Vakya. Okay. Let's do one example, one more. Sevakanam. Sevakanam. So if you're thinking of what is the tad shabda for nam for 6-3? Here's a clue. Tesham. Tesham, right? Okay, so knowing that, does someone want to give this a try? Someone who hasn't spoken very much. Sevakanam. You can follow this format. Just go ahead and unmute yourself. Yeah.
This is a Kṛdanta
Yes.
of the word sevakaha.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Sevakaha. This is a Kṛdanta word. The dhatu is no.
So here, what's before the? Yeah, save, exactly. Dhatu is save.
Save. The krut pratyaya is nuvul. So the vigraha is sevanti.
Yeah.
Iti sevaha.
Sevakaha.
Sevakaha, sorry. Sevakaha. But this is Tesham.
Yep.
Tesham Sevaka Nam. Okay.
Yeah, perfect. That was great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone give her a round of applause. Tanujaji, thank you. Okay, so that was some examples of this. Let's see one, let's look at one sentence, okay? So before we go on to look at the next section. Okay, let's see any juicy ones. Let's do number 2. That's okay. Or yeah, number 1 or number 2. Okay, we'll do both. So sa yachakaya biksham dadati. Okay. Bhiksham dadati. Okay. So we pick up the verb, dadati. Sorry, there was a question in the chat. We'll come back to that in a moment. I think you're right, Fatimaji. Yeah. Okay. So the dati, right? Da dhatu. Da dhatu 3. I don't know the gana. We have to look at that. 3p, I believe something. It's not one or it's not one. Da dhatu, to give. It has this irregular form, so you get dada. So lat lakara kartri prayoga pratama purusha ekavachanam. Okay, third one. So we want to find the first case now, right? That goes with the verb. So yachakaya doesn't look like first case. Bhiksham doesn't look like the first case. So sa. This is tad. So we look at the pratipadika. This is tad. This is, and then it's strilinga tad. Right? One strilinga tad shabda. Prathama vibhakti ekavachanam. Kartari prathama to the dati. So sa the dati, she gives. Right? She gives. So far, are we okay? Thumbs up? Okay. Let me know if there's a side or down, and then you can tell me. She gives what? She gives bhiksham. Bhiksham, right? So this is bhiksha shabda, akaranta, strilinga. Bhiksha. It means alms, what you're giving. 2-1. So ditya vibhakti ekavachanam. Karmani ditya to the dati, meaning it's the object, karmani, right? To the dati. So what does she give? Kam dadati, bhiksham dadati. She gives alms yachakaya. Yachakaya. So yachaka, this is a Kṛdanta word. This is so it's akaranta. It can be, we can do a masculine or napumsaka linga, depending on who we're referring to. But here, right, traditionally, usually a man, right? So we're gonna do this is punlinga. So akaranta punlinga. We're going to do chaturthi vibhakti ekavachanam. This is sampradane chaturthi, the recipient to dadati. She gives bhiksha to the yachaka. Yachaka means one who begs, the beggar, or sometimes this is referred to as a sadhu. Is called a yachaka. She gives bhiksha to the yachaka, to the beggar, one who begs. Yachaka is yach dhatu, right? Yach dhatu. Then we're adding nvul. So that's where we get the akka from, right? So if we were to do the vigraha of yachakaya, right? Yach, one you to beg. Yachate iti yachakaha. Yachate iti yachakaha. And then 4-1. Tasmai yachakaya. Tasmai yachakaya. Okay. So are we okay with this? Thumbs up, thumbs side, thumbs down? Okay, thumbs up. We're good with this. Okay, 2 clarifications I want to make. One is when we were doing sevaka, what is sevakanam? just one mistake that we made, and Pratima ji helped to remind us, is that it's an Atmane Pada word. So when we're doing the Vigraha, Sevate iti Sevakaha. Not Sevati or whatever. I'm not sure if we said that, but Sevate iti Sevakaha. And then we did Tesham Sevakanam. Okay, so that's one clarification. And then Harprasadji helped me with Dadati is 3U. Just so we know that. 3U, third Gana. Ubhayapadi. Okay, let's do number 2 as well. Saha margasya gantrunam nayakaha bhavati. Okay, bhavati, bhudatu, 1P, to be, latlakara, kartari prayoga, pratama purusha, ekavachana. So I hope you're getting this format down. Okay, so third one. So someone is, first case. First case, we have 2 first cases. We have Nayakaha or Saha. Right? Nayakaha or Saha, our first case. Let's take Saha. Why? I don't know. I'm just guessing that it could be Nayaka, but we'll see. Saha, this is Tad Shabda. This is Dakaranta or Sarvanama. Pullinga, Prathama Vibhakti, Ekavachanam, Kartari, Prathama to Bhavati. It's, yeah. So he is what? Nayakaha. Okay. So here, Nayaka, right? This is Nayaka, Akaranta, Pullinga. Why do we know it's Pullinga? Because it's referring to Saha. Right? Prathama Vibhakti Ekavachanam. What does Nayaka mean? Ni dhatu is to lead. Knowing that, it's the Aka means the one who does that. So the leader, one who leads. He is the leader. So this is Samana Adhikaranam. These 2 words are referring to one and the same Adhikaranam, object, the location, same in one and the same object in the location. Okay. So he is the leader of what? Gantrunam Margasya. Okay, Gantrunam. Now, Gantrunam is also a derived word. Gam dhatu plus trich. Gan dhatu plus trich, we got Gantru. Yeah. And then 6-3 of Gantru is Gantrunam. So if I know, see, I don't even need to know vocabulary now because I know gum and I know tru. If I know gum, I know go, and I know tru, I mean, I know ER. So it's a goer, one who goes. One who goes, sometimes we call a traveler, a pedestrian. It depends on where he's going, right? But goer. Simply, we can get that much, right? So he is the leader of or among the travelers. He is the leader of the travelers or among the travelers. The travelers of what? Margasya. Marga, Akaranta, Pullinga, Shashti Vibhakti Ekavachanam. This is Sambandha Shashti to Gantrunam. Because it's the travelers of the road, of the path. Marga means road or path. He is the leader among or of the travelers of the path. He is the leader of the pack, right? That's how we say it in English. So he is the leader of the travelers of the road. I mean, technically, we can say he is the leader of the road, the road of travelers, but that doesn't make much sense. The road, yeah, but technically that can be possible too. Haraprasadji, yeah, please go ahead.
So Mahadaya, since we the Subantam derived from the new Pratipadika can be declined in all the three lingas, is that considered as a Sarvanama Pada?
No. And so Sarvanama, even if we look at the word Sarvanama, the name for all, that is the name that we have for pronouns. Okay, so we reserve Sarvanama for pronouns. So he, she, it, they, those are all pronouns. They stand for other nouns. These, right, for example, Nayaka or Gantra doesn't stand for all the other nouns. It's a very specific noun, right? So it's not a Sarvanama. We wouldn't give that name. A name that you may hear that we sometimes called is Trilingi. Trilingi, one who has three lingas. Okay, so that word comes.
Like Yushmad and Asmat.
Yushmad Asmat. Okay. Now, last time we saw Kvip. I just want to remind us of that before our class ends. We won't get to see Nishtha. I had an idea that we wouldn't get to see Nishtha, but that's okay. I always prepare more just in case. Kvip. Kartari Kṛdanta. Okay, this is going to be something that's going to come up for every Vedanta student. Kartari Kṛdanta. When we come to Kathopanishad, you should write in the chat right away, Kartari Kṛdanta. Why? Because Upanishad uses Kvip. So why this comes up is every Vedanta teacher, when explaining the word Upanishad, even Shankaracharya will give the whole derivation of the word and he'll say the word Kvip. Okay? Because Adi Shankaracharya also asserted Panini grammar, right? So he uses the same language, Kvip. Kvip is a zero pratyaya denoting the karta. Okay, so it's kartari, meaning it's the doer, the ER. It's zero, meaning that all the letters which are there go away. Okay, technically, V remains, or the vakara remains. Everything else is it letter, ka, pa, i. But that vakara is also elided. It's removed by a later sutra. So there's nothing that remains. It comes, it leaves an impact, and it goes. You might ask, why does it do that? If it does nothing, then why does it do that? It's like, why do you brush your teeth and then spit everything out? Because it makes an impact. Kvip also makes an impact. What it does, it gives the kartari status to the word and then goes away. The word Upanishad, right? Upanishad, so sad dhatu plus Kvip. Some changes take place where this Kvip goes away, right? Because it's a zero pratyaya. And sad becomes shad because it's preceded by ikara. That's just a sandhi rule. So Upanishad. And that's the end of the word. But now this is the doer of shad. The doer of shadding. What does shad mean? That we'll see in Upanishad class. But shad, one meaning, there's three meanings. One is the destroyer. The destroyer of ignorance or the destroyer of samsara. So you notice I'm saying destroyer, ER. It's the one who destroys. Upani, the upasargas have different meanings. Again, we don't have time for that. But the shad has this sad dhatu, and we have to end. If we're doing the vigraha bhakya, it'll be sidati iti sad. So upani sidati iti upanishad. The one who does Upanishad is called Upanishad. Okay, we'll end there. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.